Hunting for Answers is a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network and iHeartRadio. Welcome to Hunting for Answers, a true crime podcast. I'm your host, Hunter, and today we're highlighting a case that happened in September 2025. A 46-year-old assistant principal was gunned down in broad daylight, right outside of the middle school that she worked at. She was beloved by students and staff alike, known for her bubbly personality and dedication to teaching. But the tragedy didn't just end with her. Her mother's life was also taken in the same attack. And the person behind it, someone very, very close to her. For months, family members had seen the warning signs. They felt the tension rising, but nothing could have prepared them for what happened on that Tuesday afternoon. This is the story of Nerissa Lee. Nerissa Lee was 46 years old in September 2025. She served as assistant principal at Lincoln Middle School in Berwyn, Illinois, a suburb just west of Chicago. Lincoln Middle School sits on 16th Street in Berwyn, a working-class suburb where families send their kids to school with the expectation of safety. Nerissa wasn't just an administrator at the school. She was the kind of educator who left a lasting mark on every student she encountered. One former student, who was 16 at the time of the shooting, described her this way. She always had a bubbly personality. She was very invested in her students. She accomplished a lot. She lived her life, and she was a really great human being. And that's how she should be remembered. Nerissa was warm, approachable, the type of person who made you feel seen. But while she thrived in her professional life, her personal world appeared to be quietly unraveling. Nerissa was married to 54-year-old Stephen Lee. To the outside world, they may have seemed like any other couple. But according to Nerissa's sister, Shauna Everidge, things had been deteriorating for months. Her sister told NBC Chicago that the shooting didn't come out of the blue. She said issues had started the tail end of June, and that Tuesday, September 16th, was, quote, the boiling point. This wasn't a sudden snap. It was a slow, terrifying escalation. During the time right before the shooting, tensions had reached a dangerous level. On Monday, September 15th, just one day before the murders happened, there was an alleged altercation between Nerissa and Stephen, and it involved a weapon. Her sister also revealed this detail to reporters, making it clear that the family knew that Stephen was becoming more volatile. Nerissa showed up to work the next day, and Stephen had other plans. Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. It was a normal afternoon at Lincoln Middle School. Students were wrapping up their day. Teachers were preparing to head home. The school day was almost over. Then, at approximately 4:05 p.m., gunshots began to ring out. Police received reports of shots fired directly outside the school. When officers arrived on scene, they witnessed a nightmare unfolding in real time. A man was standing outside of a vehicle, firing a rifle into another car. Inside that car were two women, Nerissa Lee and her 76-year-old mother. Stephen Lee didn't just fire a few shots. He unleashed a barrage of gunfire. Both Nerissa and her mother were struck multiple times. When police arrived, bullets were still being discharged. Officers took cover as the bullets flew. they did not return fire. And then, just as quickly as it started, the shooting stopped. Stephen Lee turned the gun on himself. He died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Nerissa's mother's name was later revealed as Jocelyn Everidge. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office ruled both of their deaths homicides. Stephen's death was ruled a suicide. 3 lives lost in a matter of minutes, all outside a school where children were inside. Miraculously, no students or staff inside the building were physically harmed. The shooting happened just outside the school, but the violence, luckily, didn't breach the walls. Still, the psychological impact on the children who heard the gunfire, who saw the aftermath, cannot be measured. Lincoln Middle School was closed the following day, on Wednesday, September 17th. Counselors were brought in to support students and the staff when classes resumed on Thursday. Superintendent Dr. Michelle Smith broke the news to the school community. She announced Nerissa Lee's death and spoke of the district's grief. The loss was devastating, not just for the school, but for everyone who knew her. The community was in shock, struggling to comprehend how something so horrific could happen right outside of their school, right in their own community. One neighbor who lives nearby recounted the chaos. He said, "You don't expect that from a small town like this in Berwyn, and it's kind of scary to just think about it because it happened right in front of school. It was just cops everywhere and helicopter noises and sirens." Students were equally devastated. When speaking of Nerissa, one student said she was always open to having a conversation or helping someone in need and always checking in on us. Another former student said they're not making it as big of a deal as it should be. Everyone is super devastated. We were really shocked. Why would anyone want to do that to her? In the days after the shooting, the community came together to mourn. Vigils were held, flowers were laid out, and students wrote letters remembering their beloved assistant principal. For Nerissa's family, they felt that things were getting bad. They knew that Stephen was dangerous, but they never imagined that it would escalate into something this horrific. Jocelyn Everidge was 76 years old. She was just sitting beside her daughter when Stephen Lee opened fire. His actions didn't just end Nerissa's life. He shattered their entire family. He left behind grieving siblings, relatives, and a community struggling to make sense of such a senseless act of violence. Details about Stephen Lee's background remain limited to the public. Police have classified this as a domestic-related incident. But one question remains. Could this tragedy have been prevented? Nerissa's mother expressed fears of not wanting to overstep, unsure of how to intervene without causing more harm. That hesitation is all too familiar. The fear that speaking up could possibly make things worse, yet staying silent can be just as dangerous. My thoughts and prayers are with the family and friends of Nerissa Lee and her mother, Jocelyn Everidge. Their story serves as an important reminder to speak up when you see someone close to you experiencing a troubling situation. As we close out this episode, remember that sharing Nerissa and Jocelyn's story not only honors their memory, but also raises awareness and keeps alive the critical conversation about safety in intimate partner relationships. Don't forget to subscribe to Hunting for Answers on YouTube and follow us on Instagram and TikTok to stay updated on this case and others like it. If you're watching us on YouTube, share your thoughts on this case in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode. Until next time. Hunting for Answers is a production of the Black Effect Podcast Network. For more podcasts from the Black Effect Podcast Network, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.